Morning, we are going to have our first session, the Brand India Road to Recovery for Business, and we have 5 panelists here, and in that we have 3 from the government side and 2 from the private sector, so that we have to talk on the subject from both the sides, that how we are going to recover after this pandemic. Before I start, I would like to give you some background of this session so that you all are clear that what we are going to discuss in this panel. We feel very proud to be at Gandhinagar after 10 years. We had our last convention in Gujarat in 2011 when Shri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Prime Minister of India, the then Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, was the chief guest. Since then, long 10 years have passed. We were supposed to be in Gujarat in 2020, but due to COVID pandemic, we had to postpone to 2021, and now we are very happy to be here for the 36th annual convention, one of the most awaited events of tourism and hospitality industry. On behalf of the entire IATO family, I welcome you all. As you all know, due to COVID pandemic, entire world has suffered a lot. It is not only loss of business but also jobs and livelihood of many. Tourism continues to be one of the sectors hardest hit. All countries have stopped regular flights and have put restrictions on travelers. All governments have imposed new normal and have introduced SOPs for the hospitality, tourism and airlines. We all know the current situation is unexpected and all are under huge pressure to keep our business alive. Tourism sector remains highly uncertain and first to hit and will be last to revive due to many reasons which we are not going to highlight but shall discuss on the subject, that Brand India Road to Recovery for Revival of Business. Before I start the questions to the panelists, I would like to give you some statistics of foreign tourist arrival in 2017 touched 10.04 million, showing a positive growth of 14% comparing previous year, and earned foreign exchange USD 27.31 billion with 19.10% growth. In 2018, inbound tourist arrival was 10.56 million, 5.20% growth on previous year, and earned foreign exchange USD 28.58 billion with a growth of 4.7% increase. In 2019, foreign tourist arrival touched 10.9 million, which was 3.20% growth, and foreign exchange earning was 29.96 billion with a growth of 4.8%. All along, tourism was showing positive growth, and certainly in 2020, the pandemic has stopped all business growth, and we are now looking to restart our business once again with the positive note that maximum vaccination has happened worldwide, including India. Looking at the present scenario, we can see some light at the end of the tunnel. The declaration of opening up the tourism sector which only possible with opening of borders and commencing the international flights. Government did announce the opening of borders, issuing e-visa, e-tourist visas and start of international flights. But due to the last virus, Omicron, the restrictions are continuing for some more time now, which is not known how long it is going to take. However, we are sure with the positive side, the awareness is the key to open again with all safety norms provided by the government, industry and stakeholders. We are all gathered here small and big entrepreneurs of tourism sector who all are eager to listen from the eminent speaker on the theme subject of the convention Brand India Road to Recovery for Revival of Business. This session is purely to discuss what are the revival plans for tourism industry, government sector as well as private sector to create confidence among the stakeholders and to get ready for the business to start again. I have, as I discussed, 3 from the government and 2 from the private sector. So I would like to have my first question to start with the government. Being Gujarat is the state, I will go to Gujarat state first. Shukla ji is here. And my first question is, what is your take on confidence building among the stakeholders and among travelers? What are the new normals adopted to counter the present situation, and what are the new products added to attract tourists to travel safely? So please highlight and give the details so that people are aware.
Thank you very much, Sarkar ji. This sector has suffered a lot, and looking at the present situation, maybe we will take another 3-4 months to reach back the normal situation. But one thing which I would like to say with full confidence is that we are much better prepared to tackle with Corona situation than we were during the first wave and the second wave. Fortunately, I was associated with a team which was dealing with this Corona situation for the last 2 years at the state level. So I have seen this situation very, very closely. In fact, on daily basis, we were monitoring the situation. And many decisions were taken. They were very, very difficult times also during the second wave. Now this new variant has come, and again there is some doubt in the mind of people. But what I would like to stress is that the situation is somewhat different from what it was earlier. The first and most important differentiating factor which I would say is that the majority of people now are vaccinated. Today I was looking at the figures on the COVID dashboard, and more than 136 crore people in India have been vaccinated. In Gujarat also more than 8.6 crore people have been vaccinated. And in fact the gap between the first and the second dose is also very, very less in Gujarat. Gujarat has been very aggressive in vaccinating people, and in terms of what I can say, per million population which has been vaccinated, Gujarat is among the top state. So we are in a much better situation also in terms of our capability to deal with the with any situation. So whether it's manpower, the hospital infrastructure or anything. Although this virus is very, very unpredictable and nobody can say with full confidence what will be the effect of the new variant. But I personally feel that maybe we are very near to the end of this long crisis, and in next 3-4 months we'll definitely be doing much, much better than our previous peak. As far as the state government is concerned, with all the COVID protocols and COVID protections, we have started many of our events, many of our activities. Some of our schemes which we had put on hold have also been revived. I would say this event itself will go a long way in establishing a confidence among the people that now such kind of events are possible. Next in line, Gujarat is organizing Vibrant Gujarat program in January, which will also be a major event in which already I think confirmed participation of many of the head of the states and delegations from more than 100 countries are there. Next in line would be Defence Expo, which is a very, very big event which we are going to host in Gandhinagar in March. So I think we are coming back to normal. with all the precautions, with all the COVID protocols. And this is probably the last leg of the crisis, and we should be out of it very soon.
Sir, what are the new locations and new sites you are developing?
So Gujarat has always tried to develop new locations, new attractions for tourists. If you see, Statue of Unity is one very popular destination which has come in last 3-4 years. 2 or 3 places which I would like to specifically mention is, one is that recently Shivrajpur beach has been given the blue flag beach distinction. So we are putting major effort to develop it as a very good beach destination of international standards. We also share, Gujarat has a very big coastline, so taking advantage of that, we have started with Shivrajpur. There are many more locations which we are also trying to develop, and some of the island locations also, like Bet Dwarika, which is being now connected through a bridge from Dwarika, signature bridge. So that will be a major attraction. Second location which I would like to mention is Nada Bet. We have all heard about Wagah border. So Nada Bet is also on India-Pakistan border. It's a closed border where basically it's a fenced border. So people from Pakistan side, they cannot come for exchange and for a common march and program like that. But otherwise, there is a huge BSF presence in that area, and we have utilized that area to develop basically a border tourism concept, and it is seeing a lot of traction. In the coming days, I think that it will become a major attraction.
Thank you, Shukla ji. And next on, I will go straight to Ms. Hilpa Gupta ji, Additional Managing Director, Madhya Pradesh Tourism Board. The question remains same, and I hope you want me to repeat again, or it's okay?
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarkar ji. सबसे पहले तो मैं इसी पर खुशी जाहिर करना चाहूँगी कि आज इस क्राइसिस के टाइम पर भी हम लोग सब साथ हैं। मध्य प्रदेश से मैं अपनी टीम के साथ आई हूँ, और आए तो जो अभी मुझे बताया प्रेसिडेंट साहब ने कि सितंबर में होता था, पर फिर भी हम लोग आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते आज दिसंबर में साथ हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि ये एक बहुत पॉजिटिव साइन है। जहाँ तक कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग की बात है टूरिस्ट के बीच में, तो मध्य प्रदेश के बारे में मैं क्लेम कर सकती हूँ कि लगभग हमारे जो डायरेक्ट टूरिज़्म और हॉस्पिटैलिटी सेक्टर में जो लोग लगे हुए हैं और जो अलाइड सर्विसेज में हैं, ऑलमोस्ट 100% जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं वो फुली वैक्सीनेटेड हैं। इसके अलावा जो टूरिस्ट हैं उनकी आज की सबसे बड़ी प्रायोरिटी है सुरक्षा और हाइजीन, सेफ्टी एंड हाइजीन, और वो ना सिर्फ डेस्टिनेशन में बल्कि उनके जो पूरा टूर होता है उसमें भी आज पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट की बजाय दे आर प्रेफरिंग देयर ओन व्हीकल्स। तो मध्य प्रदेश में जो रोड नेटवर्क है वो उसकी वो किस तरह का है वो सब जग जाहिर है, मुझे यहाँ पर बोलने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। हमारे यहाँ रोड कनेक्टिविटी बेस्ट है, और इस क्राइसिस का मौका उठाते हुए मध्य प्रदेश ने इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट पर बहुत काम किया है। वे साइड अमेनिटीज़ जो 86 होती थी एक साल पहले, 80 होती थी, अब बढ़कर 96 हो गई है, और हमारा उद्देश्य है कि रोड जर्नी पर जब लोग जा रहे हैं तो हर 50 किलोमीटर पर उन्हें कोई कैफेटेरिया या कोई वे साइड अमेनिटी मिले, और उसमें साथ ही साथ जो प्रोटोकॉल्स हैं, SOPs हैं, उनका भी हम लोग इम्प्लीमेंटेशन सुनिश्चित कर रहे हैं। इस क्राइसिस के टाइम अब जो मास टूरिज़्म है वो अब बदल गया है। अब लोग जाना चाहते हैं रिमोट एरियाज़ पे, लेस क्राउडेड एरियाज़ पे, और तो मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि मध्य प्रदेश से बढ़िया और कोई डेस्टिनेशन हो ही नहीं सकता। और मध्य प्रदेश टूरिज़्म बोर्ड इस क्षेत्र में पिछले साल से हम लोग यही प्लान कर रहे हैं कि जो हमारे अनटैप्ड और अनएक्सप्लोर्ड एरियाज़ हैं, बांधवगढ़ सबने सुना है, अभी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे तो किसी ने पूछा बांधवगढ़ में जाने का अच्छा सीज़न क्या है, तो पर शायद पर्सनली किसी ने नहीं सुना होगा। उसके साइड में वी हैव अ रिवर और उसके बैंक्स पर सैंड है, और हमने वहाँ पर बेयर फुट वॉकिंग का एक एक्टिविटी शुरू की है ताकि बांधवगढ़ में लोग आएँ 1-2 दिन रहें, पर उसका हम लोग नाइट स्टे एक्सटेंड कर सकें और एक नया एक्सपीरियंस, मतलब अब लोग सिर्फ डेस्टिनेशन पर जाके होटल में घूमना फिरना खाना यहाँ तक सीमित नहीं है, लोग अब एक्सपीरियंशियल टूरिज्म की बात कर रहे हैं। तो मध्य प्रदेश ने जो न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स की बात सरकार साहब ने पूछी, तो हम लोग एक्सपीरियंशियल टूरिज्म के क्षेत्र में काम कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हर डेस्टिनेशन को हम एक्टिविटी फील्ड टूरिज्म के तौर पर लेकर जा रहे हैं। जैसे अब मैं भी यहाँ पर आई तो मैंने ड्राइवर से पूछा कि क्या देखना है, पहले ये पूछते थे, लेकिन आज मैं पूछ रही हूँ कि करने के लिए यहाँ क्या है, मतलब मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ। तो व्हाट टू सी की बजाय व्हाट टू डू पर अब टूरिज्म का जो स्कोप है वहाँ तक बढ़ गया है और मध्य प्रदेश क्षेत्र में काम कर रहा है। दूसरी सरकार साहब ने बात बोली कि स्टेक होल्डर्स में कैसे हम लोग कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ा रहे हैं, तो आप हमारे सबसे डायरेक्ट स्टेक होल्डर हैं और आप लोगों के सामने हम यहाँ पर हैं और अपना मध्य प्रदेश को शोकेस कर रहे हैं। तो ये दर्शाता है कि किस तरह से स्टेक होल्डर्स हमारे लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं। अभी लास्ट मंथ ही टाई की भी हमारे भोपाल में एक इनफॉर्मल गैदरिंग हुई थी, वी पार्टिसिपेटेड इन दैट टू। और इसके अलावा जो बाकी ट्रांसपोर्टर्स हैं, हमारे ड्राइवर्स हैं, गाइड्स हैं, उनके साथ भी हम लोग डायरेक्ट टच में रहते हैं। आज के टाइम में मुझे लगता है कि टूरिज़्म सेक्टर में सेफ्टी, इनोवेशन और सस्टेनेबिलिटी, 3 ये पिलर हैं और मध्य प्रदेश इन तीनों ही क्षेत्र में काम कर रहा है। जैसे मैंने बताया, लोग रिमोट क्षेत्र में जाना चाहते हैं जो लेस अर्बन हो, तो मध्य प्रदेश सस्टेनेबल टूरिज्म में, रूरल टूरिज्म एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिज्म में केरला के बाद मध्य प्रदेश का नाम आता है। और मुझे ये बताते हुए बहुत खुशी है कि जो अभी WTM है उसमें मध्य प्रदेश को ग्लोबल अवार्ड और गोल्ड अवार्ड से नवाजा गया है रूरल टूरिज्म में। और लाडपुरा खास हमारा ओरछा में जो विलेज है, इंडिया में 3 विलेज नॉमिनेट हुए हैं, जिसमें मध्य प्रदेश का ओरछा के पास एक विलेज है जहाँ पर मुझे लगता है कि लोग इस टाइम पर गांव में आना चाहेंगे, वहाँ के कल्चर, उनके कुजीन, क्योंकि लोगों को लगता है कि घर का खाना है, वहाँ पर हम रहें, वहाँ के कल्चर, आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट, उसका मज़ा लें। तो मध्य प्रदेश इस रूप में पूरी तरह तैयार है और इस बदलते टाइम में आप लोगों से भी मेरे ख्याल से टूरिस्ट की यही अपेक्षा है कि हम अपने जो भी पैकेजेस हैं उसमें एक्टिविटी फुलफिल्ड टूरिज्म को, डेस्टिनेशन को प्रमोट करें। और डिजिटलाइजेशन का ज़माना है, तो आज टूरिस्ट जो है स्पॉट में जाने से पहले ही कुछ एक्सपीरियंस करना चाहता है। मैं भी मोबाइल पर देखना चाहती हूँ कि अच्छा मुझे जाना है, दुबई जाना है, दुबई एक्सपो में पार्टिसिपेट करना है, तो मुझे क्या क्या देखना है। तो या तो थ्रू पिक्चर्स, आर्टिकल्स, वीडियो, तो मैं चाहूँगी कि मुझे पहले से ही कुछ फीलिंग मिल जाए ताकि मुझे वहाँ क्या करना आई कैन डिसाइड। तो अब सिर्फ इंफॉर्मेशन का ज़माना नहीं है, वी शुड बी इनोवेटिव, वी शुड री इन्वेंट आवरसेल्फ, और मध्य प्रदेश इस रूप में पूरी तरह तैयार है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Shilpa ji. It was very honor. Mr. Manoj Kumar, the Managing Director, Jungle Lodges and Resorts of Karnataka, Government of Karnataka. So, what are your take on these first questions of building confidence and among the stakeholders and the travelers, and how you are adopted the new normals, and what are the new products and travel safety norms you have taken?
Thank you so much, Sarkar ji. And first of all, I'm very much motivated, encouraged, and thrilled by this very convention itself. Because I'm a government servant as well as I'm also one of the operators. Being a managing director of a company which runs, so I can understand your pains actually. When the Omicron just started, my December booking started cancelling. So I was thinking how to earn my own salary now. So I can certainly understand the pains and sufferings of the people who are sitting here. And then, as you all know, Karnataka being a progressive state and also progressive in thinking, Karnataka has already come out with its own policy, tourism policy of 2020 and 26. And then it has a lot of very good destination improvement as well as the stakeholder consultations and all those things. And Karnataka was another one of the very important and state in taking certain decisions during COVID. The managing directors of the jungle lodges himself sits in the COVID war room. So a lot of decision making which were happening at the COVID pandemic period. So we were very much part, as a tourism industry, we were very much part of the decision making, and then we could take certain very good decisions. Rather, Karnataka was one of the first states to issue COVID-19 preparedness protocols for tourism, and also the guidelines updated and enforced towards minimizing the spread of COVID. And we were one of the few states where we considered the tourism operators, guides and all as the frontline workers, and we put them on priority for vaccination. So all our tourism operators, everything were considered the frontline workers, and then we vaccinated them well in advance. And also when it came for relief things, we gave almost like 5,000 rupees for all the taxi and then auto drivers who are involved in the tourism sector, and also relief packages to the extent of 3,000 rupees to the direct benefit, and also industry status for 45-star classified hotels, and also the financial support was given. I also would like to mention here that the relief measures which Karnataka has taken with reference to tourism, like 50% reduction in property tax, and also the waiver of fixed charges on electricity bill for April to June, and 50% of excise license fee and additional fee to be paid remainder after 31st December. And also we had one-time rupees 5,000 grant to recover tourist guides. These are certain relief measures which we took. Not only that, just to build the confidence of our stakeholders, we have participated in spite of all the restrictions in the World Travel Mart recently in London. Not only that, we also went to Birmingham and then Manchester and then participated in the roadshow in November itself. Not only that, in the future event what is going to happen in Dubai or Madrid, we are going to participate in almost all the events. And we also have this marketing development assistance scheme in as per our tourism policy. Those tourist operators who are interested in publications and all those things, the government supports financially in publications, roadshows. And we are going to have the Kites second edition in 2022 in June. And another very important institution which we have built to boost the confidence of the tourism operators and all stakeholders is we have the Karnataka Tourism Society, which is a registered body at the state level where the Secretary Tourism, Director Tourism, MDs of the corporations are the government officials, and also the tourist operators and hotels are all the members. And this is the one body which also takes interest and also participates in decision making as well as the budget preparations and all those things. So through this body we are trying our best to build the confidence of the people, at the same time trying to send the positive signals to the government also. This time also, when this Omicron just started, CM was taken into confidence, and then he gave a lot of positive statements to the media, and so that the panic situation is not created. And as far as the new destinations is concerned, we have started heli tourism now. So we have already almost finalized it's only MOU entry stage we have reached, and then all water bodies across, which are dams and other things, are now under the control of the tourism department to develop the new tourist destinations. And we also have the 2 blue flagged beaches, and also we are developing one surfing destination in Sasietlu in Mangaluru, and also another coastal area we are developing through Jungle Lodges resort to promote the coastal tourism. And also with the help of the skill development department, we have started training our youth, especially the tribal youth who are living in and around forest area, to improve their hospitality skills, like housekeeping and other skills, so that they can be employed directly wherever they are working. And with this pandemic, the people are now more interested towards nature tourism and also the wellness tourism. So most of our nature destinations are now being taken care, and then we are developing new destinations also. So just because the pandemic is there, and then I think we all are suffering, doesn't mean that we should continue to suffer, but the state is trying its best to give the confidence and also wherever it is possible the financial assistance to the operators as well as the stakeholders. And I am certainly looking forward after this event also, that we'll certainly come back with a ban, and then we'll improve the sector further. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj. It was quite informative. Thank you very much. Speak on the same questions are also to you, and I am sure you will be able to give some inputs of yours, how you are prepared on the sectors. You are leading the hospitality sector, which is very important to know everybody, so that they are also prepared for the promotion activities and others. Thank you.
Morning, Pronab. Thank you for the invite first of all, and I share the sentiments. Thank you, IOTO, to get us all together. We skipped 1 year, and I think it's important that we as industry come out. Only if we come out, people will start coming out, and we expect them to come out. So thank you on that front. I think the whole of last year, the entire industry spoke about a new normal, and we spoke about survival to revival. I guess the new normal has arrived. We are much better prepared than we were last year. It hit us. It hit the entire hospitality industry. But hats off to the entire industry, if you ask me. All the chains did so much work, for building the confidence first. We knew always lots would change in the structure, what happened after 26/11 or 9/11, and same is going to happen with the COVID. Obviously, the pillars with the future is going to be built on is definitely, I think some panelists also spoke about, is on safety, security, hygiene and sustainability. A lot of work has been done. I think the revival has already begun, if you ask me. The last quarter numbers that we are witnessing, the footfalls that we are witnessing across all locations. Initially the business travel was low, but you can see a bit of bouncing back. The leisure circuit in all destinations has done amazingly well. There are many hotels in the country who probably surpass the LLY numbers, so which is a very encouraging sign to my mind. But yes, to build the confidence of the consumers, I think we have to be very, very careful. If you have to live with this, you have to live with the new normal, probably with this. And there is a scare of the third wave, but you got to go on. And I think the lot of effort which has been put in by our staff, by our associates, because they also came back to a new normal. And they are equally nervous of serving a guest as a guest was getting served. So a lot of effort has gone in, a lot of standards have been built in. We at IDC Hotels, we came out with a campaign called the We Assure, and we had a platinum certification from DNV where they came and checked each and every touch point. A lot of touchless service which came from beginning to end was all certified. New training modules have been done for the staff. New standards of hygiene and protocols. So it's not that the hotels were not following, but I think they've only been enhanced even further. So going forward, I think if you have to live with it, you got to live with a smile. Wipe out 1 year from your calendars. It's only painful, but it also gave you a lot of learning. And don't waste a crisis. So all the learnings that you've learned in the past, move forward with much more agility, much more confidence, much more smarter and much more sharper. Yeah.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you very much. And now I go to a very eminent speaker who is leading the travel and tourism industry for long, and is not only within India but internationally also very famous. Now we would like to hear from the tour operators' point of view, what are your points to express? Thank you, Rajeev.
No, eminent speaker, I don't know, I thought there was somebody else you were talking about. I think there's no question that the industry has been shaken up completely. And I have put a lot of suggestions out there, and I will talk a little bit about them in the next part of this panel. But fundamentally, I think as tour operators, DMCs, inbound agencies, we've had a lot of time to think, introspect, talk. But I also think we've also wasted a lot of time in not doing much on ourselves. We spend a lot of time trying to get things out of the government. We haven't gotten anything. And it's a hard fact, and I think it's important for us to all accept that everybody in life makes priorities. We make priorities on our personal life, we make priorities in our work, in our families, in our friends. And similarly, the government makes priorities in how they react to different things. And
tourism, despite the 9-10% GDP that we used to be, is not a priority. Therefore, we have to fend for ourselves, and the ATO is a forum where we have to collectively fend for ourselves. The cancellation of ITB yesterday was a great disappointment to many of us. That is also an indication of how the West is not handling the COVID situation at the level perhaps the East is handling. I mean, let's not get very excited that India has done well, India has survived. We are currently way behind the curve when it comes to COVID. Have we done well, better than the West? Absolutely. I mean, you cannot, numbers are fake in every country of the world. But anyone who goes to a hospital now sees that the number of COVID patients is not what it used to be a few months ago. So we have a lot to be proud of that. The question is now, given how impacted our traditional source markets are, what are we going to do and how we are going to approach them? And I do have some suggestions for that, and I just asked Pronab, and I'll bring that up later on. But I'm very clear, there is business out there. Business is not going to go to zero. The number of people traveling will be reduced, and therefore we have to fight harder collectively for that share of the business. I think it's very important that we come together to build the image, the customer base, the interest for India. After that, we fight within each other for that specific client. But if we don't work together to bring India back to the forefront, we'll not get anywhere. I mean, I'm sure all of you have spoken to your partners, and all your partners have said the same thing. People are traveling, Europe is booming, American agencies are doing very well, but there's no interest for India. So our primary aim as a collective is to, how do we bring India back on the mind of the traveler and on the interest of the travel seller to give to his client. Are there many new products we can offer? Anything change? I don't think so. Buyer behavior in many parts of the world, including India, has gone back to where it was. Is there a desire to be isolated, stay in independent villas and all the stuff? Maybe. Is that extremely unusual from before? Not really. It's just that the volume of domestic travelers has gone up because these people can't go abroad. You know, but I think as we are primarily an incoming, inbound association, we need to brainstorm together what are we going to do to make the world interested in India, because most of us have tried in domestic, Creative tried domestic, and we didn't succeed. You can't pivot overnight. If we had a few years of practice building a database, building lists, yes, but most of us did not succeed. Therefore, we better work together and build our fundamentals again to get our share back, because people are traveling, destinations are doing well across the world. We need our share of the pie. Next one.
Thank you, Rajeev. And this was the first part of our questions, where we have come fairly well that everybody is looking to travel, and we need to be prepared, and everybody seems to be prepared. They are doing a lot, and private sector is also doing a lot to welcome the tourists coming to our country. Now, the most important part is that who are the people they will look at India. So, first part we have sensitized that we are able to make sure that we are a safe destination, and we are following all the SOPs, and every person who is the service provider is totally vaccinated. So these are the confidence building assurances we are able to do. The showcasing the IATO convention in the Gandhinagar is itself is a message that we are having a gathering with a full safety norms under protocol. And now we have to look towards the world that people should opt for India. So branding India is the most important part, that how we are going to sensitize the brand India and attract more and more tourists. This has been all along. Since we announced the e-tourist visa, and our growth was very, very positive in every year by year, and we have grown from 10 million to 11 million we have already touched. So now our target should be how we achieve 20 million and how soon we can take it forward. So considering that fact, so I would like to ask the question that how you are going to promote your segment. First I will start again with the government sector, Gujarat, Shukla ji, to talk about that how you are going to attract more tourists. It is both national and international because tourism is for both. So we have to attract more and more, and we all know it is a job creator, it is employment engine, and tourism is the economic growth for the state and the country. So we have to attract more and more people to travel to your state and of course to India. So, Mr. Shukla ji, please give your highlight how you are going to promote and what are the pipeline you are giving, and also if you can highlight, many hoteliers are sitting here, what are the investment plan to Gujarat, what are the offers you are extending? Thank you.
So I think very rightly you said that basically our communication strategy is very, very important, and Gujarat as a state realized very early that tourism sector is very, very important for the state. We all know that it's a major contributor in GDP and also generates a lot of jobs. So many of you have come back after 2011 to Gujarat. I'm sure that you will be able to feel for yourself how Gujarat has grown over the years, and also especially the tourism sector. Many new events which have come up in last few years, and we have taken this sector very, very seriously. Our CM Sahab, Narendra Modi Sahab, was very, very particular that, and he realized very early that tourism is a very important sector which we need to focus on to create a lot of opportunities for the state. Fortunately, we have been able to promote a lot of events, and through our campaigns now, Khushbu Gujarat ki and Kuch Din Guzaro Gujarat mein have almost become the words which everybody is aware of and everybody talks about it. We are taking this tradition forward and trying to develop new destinations. Even in the old destinations, we are trying to come up with more and more experience-based activities, so that if a tourist goes to a place, maybe say after 5 years, he should be able to see new things, he should be able to experience new things. And I think that is where the role of private sector is very, very important. Tourism sector itself is one such area where I think it is very important to collaborate with private sector. If we talk about Gujarat, there are many destinations that we are trying to develop, and in fact Gujarat was the first state in India which came out with PPP policy long back, and that is now we are going very aggressively for getting more and more private players to manage our properties, to come up with new projects. Just to give you an example, Shivrajpur beach, which is a blue flag beach, there we have come out with a tender, we have come out with a proposal inviting private parties to associate and develop a beach resort on which basically the government is giving land on long-term lease. All the states have their tourism policies, and we also have a very aggressive tourism policy. So that has provisions for basically public-private partnership projects. The new policy, in fact, has a very, very unique feature. If somebody comes with a project of more than 500 crores to the state is not only willing to give land on lease for the project, but also for a special customized tailor-made package for that. For the other sectors also, I think we also deal with the aviation sector, where also the role of private sector is very, very important. Gujarat is one of the states where we have the maximum number of airstrips, airport. We are trying to have more and more heliports and more use of helicopter in transport. We have come up with a company which is now going to develop a policy so that to enable private players to engage in various projects related to basically this sector, aviation sector. So I personally think that the role of private sector is very, very important. Together we can create infrastructure and facilities which are truly world class, and as speakers before me have rightly said, it is the experience which tourist takes back. So I think together we can provide world class experience to any tourist coming to our place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shukla ji. Quickly, before that, I would like Shilpa ji to quickly tell about your promotional activities, what you are going to take forward for domestic as well as international market in your state.
जहाँ तक ब्रांडिंग और एडवर्टाइजिंग की बात है, मार्केटिंग की बात है, डेफिनेटली जैसा सब लोग करते हैं, हम लोग भी ट्रैवल मार्ट्स में, चाहे वो नेशनल हो, इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म पर पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, अपने आप को शोकेस करते हैं। सोशल मीडिया, प्रिंट मीडिया, टीवीसी, सब ट्रेडिशनल मेथड्स जो सब करते हैं वो हम भी करते हैं। पर अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे कि एम आई हैप्पी विद दैट, नॉट एट ऑल। मैं चाहूँगी कि आई ट्रूली बिलीव कि मेरे जगह में जो लोग विजिट करके जाएं, वो अपनी जगह पर जब वापस लौटें तो वो हमारे एम्बेसडर बने। तो आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट यू ऑल कि आप आइए, हमारे यहाँ विजिट करिए, तब आप ही हमारे ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बनिए। तो आई डोंट बिलीव कि हम लोग कहीं पर जाके बताएं कि आइए आप मध्य प्रदेश में आइए। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मध्य प्रदेश का वेलनेस टूरिज़्म क्या है, मैं आपको यहाँ से अपने शब्दों में नहीं बता सकती। हमारा वेलनेस टूरिज़्म स्पा या मसाज जो ट्रेडिशनल है वो नहीं है। मध्य प्रदेश की ज़मीन पर आप कदम रखेंगे, इंदौर आएंगे, भोपाल आएंगे, तो आपको वहाँ की हवा में, वहाँ के एनवायरनमेंट में, वहाँ के पोल्यूशन फ्री जो वातावरण है, वहाँ की ग्रीनरी है, उसमें वेलनेस का एहसास होगा। तो जो हम कामनेस की बात करते हैं, टूरिस्ट आज जो ढूंढ रहा है, तो हमारी वेलनेस उसके अंदर है। तो और इसके अलावा जो आपने पूछा कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर से हमारी क्या उम्मीदें हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि आप डायरेक्ट स्टेक होल्डर हैं, तो आपको क्या करना चाहिए मुझसे ज़्यादा वो आप ही समझते हैं, क्योंकि एक बिजनेसमैन को अपने रोज़गार चलाने के लिए क्या करना है, तो नए नए आइडियाज़ वो ज़्यादा अच्छे से बता सकते हैं। बल्कि मैं उल्टा पूछना चाहूँगी कि गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर से आपको क्या अपेक्षाएँ हैं। प्लीज़ फ्री फील टू कम टू अस। मध्य प्रदेश में चाहे एमडी हो, एएमडी हो, पीएस हो, और इवन हमारी पूरी टीम पूरी एक्सेसिबल है। आप लोगों के इस क्राइसिस से उबरने के लिए अगर गवर्नमेंट लेवल पे कहीं पॉलिसी लेवल पर कोई इंसेंटिव या कोई भी इश्यूज़ हैं, तो हम आपके साथ हैं। आप हमारे पास आएँ और वी ऑल शेयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़। तो हम सबको मिलकर इस सेक्टर को और आगे बढ़ाना है। तो मेरे ख्याल से इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं खत्म करना चाहूँगी।
ठीक है, धन्यवाद, बहुत अच्छा, थैंक यू वेरी मच, एंड appreciate you are welcoming all the stakeholders to come and invest in Madhya Pradesh. Now I will go straight to Mr. Anil Chadha ji. Please speak about your sector, how you are going to do the branding or marketing for the product to attract more people to our country.
Hello. Yeah, so we are equally bullish about the future. I think the brand India has lots to offer, and it's wonderful listening to what the states are doing. So it's definitely a partnership, and I think the Indian hospitality industry and the hospitality that India offers is completely unmatchable. And so the service, as she mentioned, it's the brand India which needs to be focused on. And an incredible India campaign has to become an incredible safe India, and the hospitality industry will definitely be an equal partner in making sure those experiences are absolutely safe and memorable.
Thank you Anil very much. And now I will go quickly to Mr. Rajeev Kohli. As a private sector, what we are thinking that we are expecting from the government about the marketing and branding India for attracting more and more tourists to our country. Thank you.
Thanks, Pronab. So I had made some points addressed to the Ministry of Tourism, but as I said before, priorities of different organizations are different. Now, we can spend the next 2 days talking about theoretical, hypothetical situations. I wish we had GST refund, I wish we had more airlines, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to mention 8 points. Simple 8 points, and these are not new. I have written about this over the last 2 years. All the media is here who's carried these stories. And I'm going to say these are 8 things that the ministry can do in 30 days or less that will immediately and tremendously change the lives of the inbound tour operator. But one of the things I was reading about the 5 stages of grief management. And I would suggest that my fellow IATO members go online and read this, because it's denial, it's anger, it's bargaining, it's depression, and it's acceptance. And I think we need to arrive at the acceptance stage that the situation is what it is. We're not getting any support from the central government whatsoever. And we need to do things ourselves. But as I said, there are 8 things which I believe the ministry can do in 30 days or less. And I know this for a fact because this is within their administrative limitations and authority. They don't need to go to anyone else in the government. Number 1 is please recognize and accept the pain and the damage that's happened to the inbound tourism industry. I don't think we have ever heard directly, one-on-one, is that we understand what has happened to you, we are with you, and what is it that we can do for you. We've heard a lot of lip service, and I recognize, having worked in IATO and having worked with the ministry and my other association portfolios, that the Ministry of Tourism is limited in what it can do. It does answer to the government of India, which really doesn't pay much attention. But at a very basic thing, accept the damage that's done, and that the damage for many of us is irreversible. And that acceptance is the first path to dialogue. Number 2, we need a crisis management committee. And it is shameful that this industry has no crisis management team. I see Mr. Nakul Anand here, so I'm calling you out because I know in the olden days, you and my father had a relationship, and these conversations we're having today are not new. I remember standing in Pravesh Diwan's office, 31st December, 6 p.m. on the year of Nirbhaya, me, Mr. Goyal, and Sarabjit Singh. We said the same thing to him then also, and we suggested then, create a crisis helpline. It took them 5 years to do it. As an industry, forget the government, even the private sector doesn't have one unified crisis management team that all of us can go to, all of us can look at for advice, for action, for guidance. And I think that's one thing the Ministry of Tourism needs to do that goes beyond the associations. I've always said, number 3, that the Ministry of Tourism needs to talk more to the actual operators, drivers of business. There's a very large comfort level of speaking only to associations and association heads, and nothing wrong with that. But there has to be a one-on-one dialogue with the private sector, irrespective of the segment we're in, with the private sector of people who have been successful in their businesses, and success is not defined by size of the company. It's defined on the niche of the market they're in, the profile of that person, and the ministry needs to have more honest, real conversations, because it doesn't, and it gets filtered, and it only wants to hear what it wants to hear. One of the things that I have been advocating very, very strongly for a long time, and this is point number 4, please rip up and throw away all your old systems and policies. They don't work. I mean, I can guarantee that if they stop doing everything they were doing today, it would make no difference to our lives, because some of the systems are so archaic, so old. And I know there's a very strong positive sentiment with the Ministry of Tourism, within the Ministry of Tourism. So don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying systems need to change as the timings have changed. Number 5, we need to retire Incredible India, because we're not Incredible India. Our second wave has shown to the world, because of the negative and unfair press, that India is not shining as it used to be. We need to have a new brand, a new sexy brand, and many of our competing destinations have already done that. Number 6, we need intense and very strong PR management because we have done nothing. We have done nothing ever. And the feedback, as I said, from the foreign operators is there is no interest in India because the only thing they remember is burning funeral pyres, which has been very unfair. A lot of people don't know in the West it's illegal and against the law to film and for the media to show funerals. But for India, they didn't have any shame to do that. We need new collateral, new videos, new tools that the private sector has at their disposal to use. And lastly, this was one of the points when I made recently, the Ministry of Tourism needs to recognize its biggest sales force sits in this room, the members of IATO. We spend hundreds of crores of rupees collectively, pounding the pavement, going door to door, staying at inexpensive hotels, eating at McDonald's, traveling on overnight trains to sell India. They don't have a bigger sales force than us, and no matter how much money they spend on advertising, they can't match the power we have. I suggested, just a minute, almost done. I suggested for the next 2 years, the Ministry of Tourism needs to give every MOT recognized operator unrestricted air tickets for each IATO member to invite 4 international agents to the country. Give us the tickets, we'll bring that in. I suggested that the next 24 months, they never need to give us financial support to help us market because there's almost not one of us who has anything in the piggy bank to go out and start to do marketing. And I also suggested we need to do a world-class online India education portal session collateral that allows the world to be educated on what India is. I am convinced these are very well within the power, within the authority, and within the budget of the Ministry of Tourism. They haven't spent most of the budget for the year. And if they did this under 30 days, our lives would completely change. And this is, as no one from the ministry is here, I just tell the media, write about it all over again. I mean, they've read it, but we're not getting very far, and that's my 2 bits.
Important points he has mentioned. I think I have to excuse, please, Mr. Manoj, I have no time now. You have already expressed some points before, so I am just skipping your point. Now, I will just sum up in 1 minute that very, very important key issues have been discussed, and I think with a positive note that governments are also keen for coming up. They are doing at their level best that whatever possible they are doing and inviting investments also. Plus, as suggested by Rajeev, those key points are very, very important that we must invest on our promotional activities, and it is not only, I will say that only the responsibility of Incredible India or Government of India at the center. I think all the state governments have also started participating in the international road shows, and they can also give free passage and invitation to the foreign tour operators and come and experience the ground reality and then promote their state. So even each state they do it, I think whole India is going to benefit, with the positive note that we are all ready and we are going to take forward, and this I'm sure is going to give a lot of confidence among all the stakeholders and the investors, so that tourism is flourished and we will see a better opportunity next time, and we will grow faster than previous years, and we pray that COVID should go away, and within few months time we should have our business in place and we get back all our glories for our country and do good business. With this note, I thank you very much for all the panelists and Mr. Manoj, Mr. Kohli, Mr. Shukla ji, Mr. Anil ji and Ms. Gupta ji, and everyone that you have spoke very well and appreciate very much. With this note, I conclude here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. May I request all of you to just remain on stage, please, as I request Mr. Rajneesh Kaista, Honorary Secretary and officiating Chair of IATO Convention, to please present mementos to all our speakers and moderators.
You are watching Travel World Online.